When the forces of the church took Jerusalem, the Knights Templar find a vault, and inside an ancient demonic artifact. The Templars, blinded by greed and with weakness in their hearts, fell to their knees. They had found a new lord. It spoke to them, and it seemed like wisdom, and they begun their journey to damnation. And so the armies of the church retreated, and Jerusalem became a depraved pit, where hell and earth bled into each other. So it begs the question, what magic could this artifact have told the knights, so that the gates to hell were opened? What could cause such suffering upon earth to unleash that power? What was special about this individual who was sacrificed to break the bonds between life and death? And how did this half-mortal come to be there? Was there a doorway established already? Is there more than one entrance to hell? Welcome back to the trenches, and now let's begin. From lore in our world, in Jerusalem there is a holy place called the Temple Mount. This is a holy site and was a hill in the old city of Jerusalem and has been venerated as holy for thousands of years by many religions. From the Britannica, the Ark of the Covenant at one time was there, but is in Crusade said to be held by the Ethiopian Empire. As for the temple itself, one theory is, since Jesus was killed outside the city walls of the old city, this would lead us to believe that Jesus' death and resurrection was in the region of Moriah, but not inside the old city of Jerusalem, known today as the Temple Mount. In Trench Crusade lore, maybe it was on the Temple Mount. So I think the son, or should I say a son of the Creator, was the ultimate heresy. He was slain by the Knights Templar, killed as any other man, or aided by dark magic whispered to the Templars from the artifact. And it was the egoic energy from his death, the son of a god, remember, that allowed the opening of the gates to the Inferno. The creature the knights find telling them this plan perhaps. The son of the Creator could have opened the gate, as he had already been through it. Let me explain. After his death, he was resurrected. But there was a period in between, and the early church believed this, that after his death, the Creator's Son descended into hell in order to rescue the souls of the righteous, such as Adam and Eve, and so on. Christ descends and breaks down the doors of hell, unbinds the prisoners and leads the just to heaven. We know there are limits on some beings being able to enter the material world from hell due to the covenant of hell, but some can enter the mortal plane. One example is the Praetor. As they are partly born as creatures of natural order, they can break into the mortal realm without breaking the covenant which binds each rebel seraphim. Christ was born by a mortal mother, but it is also the son of the Creator, so he fulfills that criteria, and he has already been down there, in hell as some see it, and so the power, that unique element, opens the Inferno up and destroys Jerusalem. In a short story, we see the mere presence of an angel can make people go insane. That release of goetic magic from the son of the Creator, oh, that's going to be a big one. In a place he had already died and been returned in. It has some sense to it, and it's for a doorway he has already broken down. So, how did he come to be there? If Jerusalem is where he died, maybe it's also where he comes back. For each Metachrist. So by going through and bringing out the others, and by dying and returning himself, he broke down some barrier between heaven and hell, which is why after his death, the doorway opened there. In some religious lore, we have references to a place called Limbo. The Britannica tells us, the border place between heaven and hell, where dwell those souls who, though not condemned to punishment, are deprived of the joy of eternal existence with the Creator. The word is of Teutonic origin, meaning border or anything joined on. Were the other Metacrists more sons sent by God? Does he have a closet of them, or just the various Metacrists mentioned? And are more than one operating at the same time? It's unclear. If he has sent several sons to earth, thus the several references to them in the law, maybe they are not clones, but new sons born of earthly mothers, sent to help humanity. I propose one of these was slain to open up the portal, his progenitor, you could say, opened by walking through that door in the past. One take on this links into the earlier law, and also means Christ did not go through to hell, but limbo. Limbo is the limbus patrum, the Latin means father's limbo, which is the place where the Old Testament saints were thought to be confined until they were liberated by Christ in his descent into hell. Though perhaps as this still was a descent into hell, he still broke that barrier in death. This could also be the way paladins get to hell, as they have some of themselves within him. A paladin is a communicant, and instead of them in the Lord Primer, in the techno-laboratories of the city, the church tolls away in creating the superhuman communicants, empowered by the cloned flesh and blood of the Redeemer. And there might be more than one gate as per the short story about the paladins, where upon deployment we see a paladin enter hell, slowly. With all the ponderous weight of a tank grinding into motion, the paladin crossed the floor and entered the airlock. The black door ground shut behind him and sealed. Vents in the walls screamed and bled as infernal atmosphere replaced material air. His armour steamed. Finally, the opposite door yawned open, and the paladin began his descent into the raving blackness of hell. So could there be more than one gate? Is it one of the many entrances to hell? Or did the church build them later to aid the paladins to get close? Maybe they don't go right in, but are near to the gateway. Or maybe, and I think this is the best idea, they have tunneled as near to the gate as they can, and then release the paladin to go in further and try to complete his mission. That's my rough theory, and I think an appropriate level for heresy in terms of what destroyed Jerusalem. I've done this for a few vids, so here at the end, what ideas might I be working on? So first thing, I've mapped out all the lore and what I've covered in straight up lore videos, and what I haven't covered but will be covering in the future. For example, the church space program is one line within the lore primer, which became a very interesting video topic to discuss with you, and like with other videos, you get ideas for further ones from either your own thoughts or other comments. You get an idea for a follow-up video for a topic. It could be why the church wanted to build it, the space program. If we assume it was to reach God, there was little lore related to the church for that, along with if you think about the Tower of Babylon being built to reach God. That and this idea are grabbing me the most at the moment. It's trying to link the fallen angels of hell with lore from the actual angels of Christian law, and trying to find some parallels, but I think there is more to that concept and idea at the moment. I'm not sure what that is. And browsing through the rest of the list we have outside of the straight read-through videos is to look at war from a logistical perspective and try and piece something together about how two different parts of Antioch continue to thrive and are supplied, basically looking at it from a war point of view. I've read a lot of history books and fiction, historical fiction, I should add there, so that might help. Trying to find an overall Lord for the Path of the Beast is another idea, and trying to take that into hell and the mark and number of the beast. Trying to put together an idea of the afterlife in Church Crusade, and if you can come back, etc., on either side, be it the heretics or those loyal to the church, and also with an idea to a longer term format, looking at types of videos that lets me look at each faction and theorise on them within that same particular idea. All things I'm working on. Anyway, enough of my rambling, I'm tired of it as well. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for listening. Drop me a comment down below on what you think to the lore we've discussed, and if you like this video on the Church Crusade, then why don't you try this one?